Hello, welcome to Solo Strategic Playthroughs. My name is Jeff, and I am back. It's been about a month since I recorded my last Gloomhaven video, but I am going to be continuing my Gloomhaven 2nd Edition campaign as my crew of the Gloomaniacs. We had a retirement that I did in the last session, the Cthulhu class, and I have unlocked the Lightning Bolt class, which I will be introducing in this video. And just a quick catch-up, when we last left off, the Gloomaniacs had gone out into the mountains looking for an amulet related to this puzzling quest they're working on. It's the puzzle book. Did find the amulet, and I've worked through a few more puzzles in the puzzle book. What I've realized is it takes work to get all the way through that. There are quest lines that I haven't explored that I'm going to have to go after, new side scenarios. So it's going to take a bit more work, but I'm going to get back, not quite to the main quest line yet, but actually going to be working on some faction stuff. Before I get to that, one other thing I need to do is show you my city event. And by show, what I really mean is show you what I did. I'm not going to show you the city event itself, but it involved me having the potential to sacrifice some items or some money. I decided to donate some items to this cause, see what I might get out of it. For the Elementalist, I got rid of the Circle of Elements, which I really only took to get that mastery. So mildly useful potentially, but wanted to see what I could get out of that. And then the Element Potion, which I gave up from the Sunkeeper. Also gave up an item from the Cthulhu class, but that didn't really have a bearing. The end result of the donations that I gave up is that going into the next scenario, I am going to be blessed and safeguarded. So no long-lasting effects, but every little bit helps. Taking a look at my updated campaign sheet, got another inspiration up to 10, so it's going to be quite a while before any of these characters retire, but once one of them does, by then I will have the 12 inspiration to do an extra unlock, gain 2 XP or 2 prosperity for the retirement, another one for completing another set of Great Oak donations. I did have both of my characters sticking around donated, as well as the Cthulhu class before leaving. So then the one other thing is with imbuements, I got to read an unlock, and actually not really an unlock anything, but a new section, a little bit more information about imbuements, a little bit of story, and a bit of a reward, as Hale wants me to go back out there and keep working on it. But in the meantime, I am going to be rewarded with double XP for all of my characters for this next scenario. That includes my new character, and that will be both campaign XP as well as XP from cards played. So hypothetically, I might be able to get a level up right in the first session, but we'll see how it goes. That is going to do it for most of the city phase in terms of events and whatnot. But of course, let's take a look at the characters. We'll start off with Katie Kaboom, the Volrath Sunkeeper. Not much to report here. She spent 10 gold to donate to the Great Oak, and that's it. And for Pinky, the Savas Elementalist, who must go on without the brain, in their case, spent 10 gold to do the Great Oak donation. And then for Perk, as I got a mastery, I went ahead and took the ability to ignore scenario effects. That also puts, as you can see, a wild element generation card in my attack modifier deck. So now it is time to introduce the newest member of the Gloomaniacs. This, of course, going to be the Lightning Bolt class. Spoilers ahead, you have been warned. Of course, this is a character who is known to be a bit of a hothead and perhaps a bit of a show-off, as she likes to get right in the thick of things, push people around, show off her muscles. Some have said that she's at times a villain and that she doesn't care about anything or anybody. Well, she is a mercenary. Let me introduce to you Nilsa Needhart, the Inox Berserker. There you can see I've got her miniature painted, my slapdash job, but good enough, ready to go. The bottom of her base nice and red, so you'll be able to see it on camera. I also cleaned up, made the base for the Elementalist a little bit lighter, so hopefully easier, less camouflage. And if not, I may have to go even more white. But yeah, so again, as I mentioned before, I not only have I never played the Berserker before, I never even opened the envelope. So when I unlocked this class, that was the first I had ever seen of the name, its abilities, and yeah, I'm thinking this one is going to be quite a bit fun. As with most Gloomhaven characters, Frosthaven and the like, there are usually kind of two notable paths you can go with each character. With Nilsa, I am going to be going the Retaliate route, because that just seems fun, not to mention the Elementalist has some really good Retaliate granting cards, and, you know, it's one of her mastery goals, is to kill lots of enemies. In fact, let's move her out of the way so you can see a couple masteries, one of which I do not think I'm going to be able to get in the first scenario, but the other one I'll certainly try, which is to, one of the things with the Berserker is she thrives on taking lots of damage, being at half health or less, doing things that deal damage to herself. So there's one of the masteries is to always be at half health or less for a scenario. Very different from where I was going before, although, well, not surprisingly, this was unlocked by the Blood God, so there is some connective tissue there to, you know, my last character always wanting to be at half health, and this just being an inherent part of what makes this character good. So now I will go through the various level up stuff, and we'll start with perks. So for her first perk, she is definitely going to need good armor, so I went ahead and gave her the ability she puts a +1 in her deck, and she ignores -1 penalties from items. So, and I do have 4 perks, 2 because she's starting. I am going to start her out at level 3, and then also 2 legacy perks for the previous retired characters in the line. Now for the other one, I couldn't resist. It costs 3, but also seems very fun, fits in very well. It's going to help me with the Retaliate goal, and that is Taunt, which at the end of any of her turns, she can have all of the adjacent enemies attack her, so more ways of dealing damage, and of course, if she's got Retaliate up, and not hard for me to get to Retaliate 5, or potentially even higher with this character, and that's just, you know, that's just now with my characters at level 3. Who knows what's going to be unlocked as I get further down in the future. But yeah, so that one's expensive, but seems like it'll be fun. For her level up, my first choice was between Reckless Offensive and Into the Fight. And I do like having some more powerful attacks, especially ones that can target multiple enemies. So that certainly drew me to Reckless Offensive. Low initiative, really like that. You know, the other cards got stun ability, but I feel like since I want enemies to attack me, maybe not all the time, but yeah, I think I'd rather go. I also like the potential for 7 movement is really good. Certainly plenty of elements being generated when you're playing with the Elementalist. So that is my choice for level 2. For the level 3 card, my choices are between Tireless Retribution and Final Fight, and given the path I'm choosing, this one is as big a no-brainer as there could be. I'm going with Tireless Retribution for that 3 Retaliate, also an incredibly good bottom ability that there's a good chance I will never use. But also 7 Initiative, really like that. That is going to be the level up card there. So for her equipment, I've got 65 gold to spend, and definitely going to take the chainmail. She's going to need some defense as she wants to get hit. So that should come in really handy. But you know what's even better if you're going to get hit and you're planning on getting hit? If your enemies have curses in the deck. I couldn't help myself. This card is so good. I'll spend the 40 gold to hang on to the Scepter of Zorn to pass it along for the 3rd character in a row in this line. We'll have a chance to use it. Yeah, I mean, just all around, incredibly good for her to be able to get right in the thick of things, surrounded by enemies, poison 3 of them, which is going to make it easier to kill, and of course, curse 3 of them, which is going to make her harder to kill. Yeah, and I did double check the FAQ. As far as I understand, if you don't play the class when it retires, then it goes back into the shop. I assume it would be the same when you sell it off, as I did when I last retired. Available for purchase, so I am buying it. Last but not least, we'll take a look at her personal goal, which is into hospitality. Didn't really have great choices in terms of the one she was getting, like nothing that really synergizes with the class. But she does have a loot card, and that's on the top, so should be able to make good use of that. Of course, this one, I just need to loot 50 loot tokens, and then I get to unlock the Spears class, which I played a lot in first edition, so it's a ways down the road, but I am definitely looking forward to seeing what changes were made from second edition for that. But with all that taken care of, it is now time to welcome Nilsa into the fold and for the new crew to decide where they're going next. And we're not going too far from Gloomhaven, certainly long enough to have a road event, as there is still some intel from the Spymaster and the City Guard that we have not followed up on. This, of course, is the second major faction quest that we've unlocked for the City Guard. Do want to try and take care of that one and see what happens when I progress further in that storyline, see what kind of unlocks I might get from there. So, we are heading down to the banks of the Serpent's Kiss River to look for a demonic rift. So, this road event, really interesting, especially given that it is not specifically tied to an unlock quest. It is one of the ones numbered from 1 to 20. We went outside town, we saw a raven with a message, which apparently had been delivered to the wrong person. We had a chance to either respond, that kind of confirming what the message said, or maybe saying, hey, you sent this to the wrong person, or if you had a character involved in the escaping the Sin Ra personal quest, which I do, there was a third option. So, spoiler alert, I definitely chose the third option and got some good stuff out of that. 10 collective gold. I'll have to decide who to give that to. And then also a random item design. So now I have the ability to purchase a frigid blade. Kind of having taken care of that, we continue on to the scenario. All right, so the Spymaster has sent us to close this demonic rift, and they've given us a little help in terms of one very nervous guard who's got 8 health. They couldn't even send an elite. Nope. So we got the one guard there to, I guess, maybe keep an eye on things while we have to go into the rift and figure out how to seal it. The goals of the scenario at the start are unknown. We're going to have to figure those out. There is a negative scenario effect, which is going to be a couple -1s in everybody's deck, though not in Pinky's deck, as they did take that perk. And yeah, there is some very interesting mechanic stuff going on here, and also a rather interesting layout. So just kind of giving you a quick look at the layout, and I haven't figured out who's going to start where. I'll figure that out once I've dealt my battle goals, chose my starting cards, but any of these 4 bottom spots are where my crew can begin. We've got this guard who's an ally. He goes on initiative 30 with a move 3, attack 2, and I can control him. So I can decide what he does. And then, of course, we have all the enemies, and actually kind of hard to tell here, but this is actually multi-level. So I set it up with some blocks under here, so less impressive looking to you, but looks cool to me, because these are actually separate sections. So this bottom level is, I suppose this is the outside, and up here, this top level is indoor. Hey, look, a treasure chest over there, lots of lava, hazardous terrain, there's some thorns in here, there's a couple of traps, all sorts of stuff. And looking at the scenario effects, so, I mentioned about the City Guard. basically there's a teleport that goes from A to A or B to B, and only my characters, my summons, the guard can move through there. The enemies are not going to come through the rift, so at least not now. So I guess there's something at least. There are some spawn points on the map, not all of which are mentioned. There's the 2 C's here at the start of any round. If there is nobody inside the rift, then the night demon will poke its head out. We will spawn a night demon out here. So definitely going to want to split the party, and we need to make sure we can get back out. So at all times, I do need to have at least one character, which could be the guard, outside. So perhaps the ideal way to do things, at least to start, will be to kill everybody here, leave the guard behind to kind of tend the home fires. Of course, early on, I'm going to have to send somebody up. It's at the start of round 2 if you don't have anybody upstairs. So we'll have to figure that out, who I want to send into the rift and who I want to stay below. I'm assuming no line of sight here. Obviously, the 2 are completely disconnected, which could make things interesting and tricky. There are other spawn points. These are actually supposed to be D's, and then there is an E over here, and I don't know what those do yet. I assume once I've killed all the enemies, that will trigger the next phase of the scenario, and then we'll find out. So now I'm going to deal out my battle goals and decide which cards I'm bringing. Okay, so I've had a chance to go through everything. Actually spent quite a bit of time, as I usually do, in picking my battle goals, picking my cards, taking the next step, and deciding what do I want to do in the first round. So I figured all that out. We will start with our new character, Nilsa, the Inox Berserker. And her battle goal seems really easy for this character. It's Assassin. Nilsa has a lot of low initiative and ways of doing an incredible amount of damage, potentially a 14 attack if she uses that one card, which I'll show you in a bit. I'm actually going to go through all her cards this first time. But I feel like Assassin is definitely one I should be able to pull off. Maybe not on the first turn, but it occurred to me I can kind of regulate whether or not a Night Demon spawns. So at any point, I could just have a Night Demon show up, and later on, once I have things under control, or I might get lucky and do it in the first round. Now, in terms of cards I'm bringing, so there are, again, a lot went through here as to what I'm going to do the first turn. I'll get into that in a moment. Cards I'm bringing, these first 4 cards I'm showing you all have something in common. They are all part of the Retaliate suite. So 2 of these I'm going to be playing on the first round. These were all no-brainers. All right, now going through the other 5 cards and various reasons for taking these. Shiny Distraction. Again, I want to have the loot card, since that is my personal goal, is to loot 50 loot tokens. Of course, my level 2 card, definitely going to bring that. Defiance of Death. Actually, the main reason I bought this one is because it generates XP on either side of the card, and I am keeping in mind the fact that I can get double XP, will get double XP for this scenario. Glass Hammer. I've got that. That's my big card that I can use to make sure I get Assassin. Also got some Jump if I need that later on to get over the lava. And finally, Blood Pact, which I think, all things being equal, if I were going for my mastery to be at half health the entire time, which is not a guarantee this case. I decided I want to have some fun on the first round, so maybe I get that mastery next time. Maybe I get lucky and take enough damage that I can do it this time. But yeah, this is just a really good way to just kick things right off, make sure you get down into half health, do a lot of damage, and then also this is another card that generates XP on both sides. And finally, for the cards I'm not bringing, From the Brink. Yes, it generates XP, but pretty situational. I think I can do without it. Thought about Dazing Wound, but I'm more likely to use the bottom, and I don't really need the healing. I'm going to be loading up for the Sunkeeper with healing. Strength and Agony. I like the potential of big movement, but this map is not that large. What you see is what you get in this case. I know there's not going to be any other rooms, so I can leave that out this time. Cauterize, again, this is another card. not guaranteed to get XP. The bottom, I'd almost be happier for it the other way around, if I could move and then immobilize somebody. And then Growing Rage certainly seems like it'll fit in well with the Retaliate theme. But with this one, I'd rather, since if I do have a chance to get my battle goal, or sorry, my mastery of being at half health, I don't want to have this card in play, which could throw a wrench in the monkey works and cause me to heal higher than I want to be. Next up, we'll take a look at Katie, the Volrath Sunkeeper, whose role has definitely changed from being the frontline fighter to much more support. I've got her focused more on healing. Some interesting cards here, a couple that I have not used before. I mean, first there's all my standard healing cards, but Protective Blessing seems, again, XP on both sides, but seems really useful for the bottom when you have this maniac berserker who's running forward and making everyone attack her. So that seems an incredible combo to be able to use to nullify all the damage Nilsa takes if I'm standing next to her. And then also Empowering Command, good support card, one I could probably play on the first round. And Lay Hands, not a card that I brought before, just because I didn't want to necessarily heal my allies back up, but here's the perfect combo where I can use Lay Hands on the Berserker and then be set up for a huge attack with Glass Cannon. Also, as you'll see on the first round, the 90 initiative, being able to go late, is something I think is going to be really helpful. For my next 5 cards, mostly my attack cards, I think Daybreak could be especially clutch here, potentially being able to prevent the night demons from having access to dark. And Tactical Order, I had a couple different options for where I could go for kind of a general utility. I went with Tactical Order just because I think being able to move people around, if I want to move somebody back upstairs or somebody downstairs, not to mention being able to maneuver the Berserker into ideal positioning for her to get attacked. Oh, and of course I did not mention the battle goal. I chose Acrobat. That one's going to be really easy, as there are 5 damage traps. Up on the top level, there's 3 of them, including one that's by the chest. So towards the end of the scenario, I could potentially just run into that trap on my way to grab the chest, or maybe I'll take a big attack and defend that way. All right, then we've got Pinky, the Savas Elementalist, who is going to be the diehard. It shouldn't be too hard to pull off, since the other 2 are going to be the ones charging into the fray and hopefully taking the damage. In terms of cards I'm bringing, Gravel Guard and Empowering Flames, my level 2 and 3, you're going to see those right off the bat, as I'm going to be making very good use of that. And then Magma Scales later on down the road, being able to give that shield and retaliate, incredibly good card to use with the Berserker. And Malleable Evocation and Shaping the Ether, those are my catch-all heal/attack cards. And then just quickly going through the other 5 cards I chose. Again, in part, XP was a consideration, but also making sure I have a little bit of extra healing just to be flexible. Got that with Dual Nature. Frigid Torrent, very good XP attack. Pulsing Cores, I can get 3 XP out of the bottom on that, not to mention the element generation. Ice Spikes, again, pretty reliable source XP on both sides, and a card I did not bring last time, but I think could definitely be useful, Flashing Brilliance, so that if I want to let Nilsa get one of her Retaliate cards back. All right, here we go. Round 1. I misspoke earlier on the city event. It was actually a ward that I got for the city event, not a safeguard, so that was just those 2 characters. Nilsa, unfortunately, had not joined us yet. Maybe fortunately, if I want her to take damage in this first round, but we'll see how that goes. I don't think there's a good chance of her getting down to half. That is because kind of, while that originally, I do like to complete these masteries right off the bat, here I have an opportunity with 3 enemies that is just too good to pass up. And no guarantee the wind demons could go very fast, but I think even then I'd still be able to get in good position to do what I want to do. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be having the Elementalist go first on 10. so that you can both grant retaliate and movement to Nilsa and some shields. And then on 14, generating more retaliate, both with the move and the other card, and then I will be able to make all the enemies attack me for retaliate 6. Should be pretty good. And then for the Sunkeeper, I'm actually going to have Katie go, as I mentioned, on 90. My thinking there is I am going to be drawing cards for the demons, the night demons up top, and this way, going on 90, they'll have already gone with no focus. They'll just hang out. Same thing with the Wind Demon up top, and then she can jump through the rift, since I do have to have somebody on the other side, but I can do it at the end of the round, so I don't have to take any attacks. And then somewhere in there, of course, on 30, the City Guard will go, and I'll be able to control that. Also, probably want to stay away from the 2 demons down below, which you can see there's a couple of Earth Demons right here. All right, so here we go, checking X-Haven to see what the enemies are going to do. And, well, the Wind Demons are going first, which means I will not be able to assassinate them. But on the plus side, they will not be dealing any damage, since they're not moving and they're not within range of any targets. Then Pinky, Nilsa, the City Guard, followed by the Night Demons, who, again, not going to be anybody up there, so they're not going to do anything. Then finally the Earth Demons, moving 3, that is good news, and attacking 3. Then finally Katie. So before the Wind Demons go, the very first thing is I do get to use Pinky's perk to generate an element. So I am going to go ahead and generate Frost. Now the Wind Demons are up, they are attacking, can't reach anything in range, not moving, healing themselves, they're already at full, they're done. Alright, so now Pinky is up, and the first thing they will do is use Gravel Guard to grant 2 movement to Nilsa. So that's going to be 1, 2 up over here. Nilsa will also get a shield, and that will generate Earth. Then I am going to use Empowering Flame to move 3. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, get up in the thick of things. And I will then consume the Frost, which will just regenerate, to give 2 retaliate to Nilsa. Now the only other question is, would I want to use the Elementalist's Element Potion to generate 2 elements? I think not. I'm going to be generating Sun anyway. If I generate Wind or Night, those will be consumed by the enemies. So that being the case, that is the end of Pinky's turn. Next up is Nilsa. Welcome to the party. Very excited to be able to, I've done 25 of these videos. Maybe you've seen some of my other videos. Again, this is solo strategic play. I love nothing more than when a plan comes together. It would have been better. It would have been more optimal if I had gone before the Wind Demons, because then I would have gotten Assassinate entirely with Retaliate, but and probably killed the Elite too. But nevertheless, I still think this is going to be pretty fun, as I am going to do a move 3, give myself Retaliate 1. So 1, 2, 3, right in the middle of the pack. And then I will use the other card to give another 3 Retaliate. So again, that's on top of the 3 I've already got. So now I've got 6 Retaliate. Attacks against me are disadvantage, and I'm going to gain 2 XP the next time I retaliate. And I could, at this point, curse enemies. I could use the Scepter of Zorn, but I'm not going to, because here is the one chance if I'm going to be able to work on the Mastery, I would have to take enough damage to get down to half. So at this point, I would rather take damage, even though I think I've got, with the shields, I have to use my armor, unfortunately. I guess I don't have to bring the armor. All right, you know what? Before I actually do the end of my turn, which is to use my perk to have all the adjacent enemies attack Nilsa, I'm going to consider whether I want to not bring my armor in this scenario. Yeah, you know what? It's kind of crazy, but you are able to kind of, this is all the process of making your decision before you go. I certainly knew what I was getting myself into in running into all three of these enemies, taking the attack. So I am not bringing the armor this game, so otherwise I would be forced to use it for all three of the incoming attacks. We'll see how that decision pans out. The other thing I just realized, my angle here, it's a little hard to see. I actually moved this character out of range. So I could have just moved Nilsa over here with the move 2, which would have freed up this spot. I want the Elementalist to be within 3 of Katie. So just a slight adjustment there. So now, the end of the Berserker's turn, I will utilize the ability, have all the enemies attack. It's going to be their base attack, and it is going to be against Retaliate 6. I do have 1 shield from granted by the card I played by the Elementalist, and all the attacks will be at disadvantage. So, it's still possible that I do not take the 7 damage I'm hoping to take here. And it's going to be a 4 attack from the Wind Demon, a 3 attack from the other 2. So, oh boy, but I'm taking an additional 2 attacks from Elementals this turn. This could be a bad decision, but I'll take a chance. First attack is either going to be a +1 or a +2, so it's a +1. That is 5 damage. Shield reduces it to 4, and 6 damage to the Elite, knocking it down to 2. I'll gain 2 XP for that, and then I will have the other Wind Demon attack. This, a 3 attack against 1 shield, is either going to be a +1 in heal or just a +1, so it's a +1. Yes, I am playing with the imbuements, so the deck is actually pretty rough. So that is going to be 4 minus 1 is 3 damage. Hey, but 6 Retaliate is going to kill this guy, so I have completed 1 of 20 in that mastery. And finally, the attack, a 3 attack from the other demon, is either a 0 or a +1, so that will just be 2 damage. And hey, I can at least say, so I'm down to 5 health, but had I had the armor, I would not have been knocked down to half. Next up is my trusty ally, the City Guard, doing that modified nothing special. Again, it's +1 movement, -1 attack. So move 3, attack 2. Let's get away from these guys. This could work out very well. 1, 2, 3, putting me in position to, so that elemental currently at 7. If I can get it down below 6, so just need to not miss. So here we go. A 2 attack, times 2. That is definitely not a miss. So that is going to be 4 damage, bringing this guy down to 3, which is perfect. Next up are the 2 Night Demons up top, who are doing nothing and no element to turn themselves invisible. I'm not even sure they would actually consume the darkness, because if they don't perform any of the actions, I don't think they consume the element. But nevertheless, that's it for them. That being the case, as I realize that, also just thinking things through, I'm just going to backtrack slightly. I'd forgotten that the Earth Demons consuming the wind would actually be bad for them. So I will, just going back to the Elementalist turn, use my major element potion to generate wind and fire. So I'm always looking for an opportunity to say we have earth, wind, and fire. And frost too. So now, that being the case, the Earth Demons will consume the wind, but let's have them go in order. So we'll start with actually number 1 up here, who, he'll be the one, he doesn't need to move, he'll consume the wind, and then just a 1 attack against the Berserker, who has still 1 shield up, attack at disadvantage, just the way we want to see it, either a +3 or times 2. Well, that's not great, but that's better. So times 2 on a 1 just makes it a 2 against the 1 shield. So Berserker does take 1 damage, but that is 6 Retaliate, and hey, we are 2 of 20 on the mastery, as we have now killed 2 enemies with Retaliate. Next up is number 2, this guy who cannot get within melee range of either. It could go into the thorns, will not do that if there's another path. That other path is actually going to take him to the lower initiative target over here. So that is going to move him 1, 2, 3 over here. No attack. Finally, the last guy will move. And this is why I said I was glad they were moving 3. Because I want to be attacked when I have this 6 Retaliate up. So yeah, this guy will go ahead and do a 1 attack at disadvantage. either a 0 or a +2 muddle. It'll be the 0. The shield will reduce that to 0. I will upgrade Nilsa's hit points and also from the previous attack and also deal 6 damage to that guy. So, on the first turn of the first game with the Berserker, she has taken 10 damage and dealt 30 retaliate damage. I think I'm going to enjoy playing this class. Finally, we'll finish things off with Katie, who is within range of the Elementalist to be able to use Empowering Command to strengthen and bless, also generating Sun. And then has a move 4. I'll use, yeah, we'll go on that side. 1, 2, 3. And then the fourth movement is going to take me up onto the next, into the rift, up onto the next level, over here. And that is going to do it for her turn. That is going to do it for the round. Actually, you know what? The one thing I could do here, and I think I will, just so I don't have to think about it next time, I am going to go ahead and use her major element potion to generate dark and wind, which means next turn, well, yes, it means next turn all the elements will be available, but more importantly, that is 2 of 3 times that the Elementalist, for their mastery, has had all the elements active. And, you know, maybe that would have happened organically later, but I'm good to just make it happen now. Round 2, and maybe I should pivot down to 4 health, but I gotta keep the retaliate going. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna continue to have enemies attack the Berserker, who will go first on 9. We'll also be able to get some protection up so that she doesn't die with her taunt. And then I'll have the Elementalist be able to go, do some healing, some protecting. And then finally, Katie will actually go on 55 because, you can see, I actually decided to move here instead because with this situation, if the Night Demons are both moving, then there's a chance that one of them will move into the trap to attack me. All right, so I'm on 9, 26, and 55, and the enemies are later. 41 for the Night Demons. They are moving. They're attacking quite big, but I can take some damage and maybe lose a card, achieve my battle goal. And then I think the Wind Demon, yeah, I haven't marked off the ones that are dead, but the one up top is going to attack, but hopefully, yeah, not going to be able to get in range, so should be okay with Katie going. And then finally, the Earth Demons attacking ranged. All right, so we'll have to take all that into account along with what elements everyone's looking to use, and I'll probably end up burning up a bunch of those on Pinky's turn. All right, we'll kick things off with Nilsa, and she is going to go ahead and numb the pain and defy death. So she's got 2 retaliate. Next attack that takes her below 1, we'll just reduce her to 1 instead. And then before I end her turn, I will go ahead and use the Scepter of Zorn. And the brain may not be here in body, but he is certainly here in spirit as we spread the gift of plague and poison, poisoning 3 enemies, putting 3 curses in the deck, that even more important. And then at the end of my turn, I will go ahead and taunt, and I'm pretty sure I can decide what order the enemies attack in, so I will actually have the Earth Demon attack first. So this will be a 3 attack, 1 damage reduction from the Retaliate card, so just 2 damage in that case. He'll take 2 Retaliate damage down to 5, and then I'll go ahead and attack the Wind Demon, attacking for 4. Well, +6 and muddled, but the good news here, actually, I guess this is still during my turn. Yeah, so the muddle will last until next turn. The good news here is it doesn't really matter how much damage. That will trigger Defiance of Death. So we'll set her back to 1 hit point. Of course, 2 retaliate damage will take this guy out, and now we've killed 3 enemies with retaliate. Now Pinky's up, and I do want to make sure that I don't have both of these elementals attacking the Berserker, so they'll move up here, which also means they'll be grabbing some of that loot, and at the end of the turn in any event. Then I'll go ahead and play Malleable Evocation, and I can't see much reason not to just use all 4 elements. Definitely want to... I'm going to be regenerating fire from the movement. I guess I could hold on to the Frost potentially for next round, but I definitely want to be able to get Safeguard on the Berserker. So burning all 4 elements will give me an XP, some healing, and for the second target, I could target the guard, I suppose, but for the second target, it will be Pinky. All right, well, actually, I think I will make the other target the guard instead of the Elementalist, because the Elementalist already has a ward, so now the guard does too. Should give it some extra protection, plus strengthen for the attack that it's got coming up next. Now, the guard, doing nothing special, will swing around here with 2 movement, and then do 2 attack, which will actually be a 3 attack from the poison, and at advantage, thanks to strengthen. So that is either going to be a 0 or a 0, but that is 3 damage, which is going to bring it down to 2, right in range of Retaliate Death range. Next up are the Night Demons, who are, well, we'll start with the Elite, and they're actually only moving 3, so not going to get anybody caught in a trap this turn, but maybe next turn. He'll go around 1, 2, 3 this way, and then the non-Elite will be able to get up in range and go ahead and do a 5 attack. So good news is I do have the ward still up. So here we go, 5 attack, and it's a curse, so no damage. That will move that back up to strong, and that's going to do it for them. They will be followed by the Wind Demon, which is just going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. It's got flying, so it doesn't worry about the lava, but still can't get in range. It'll just hang out there. Next up, Katie Kaboom wants to hit something. So first things first, she will go ahead and just generate light. Also disadvantage on attacks against her. Not that that's going to have any bearing, but then she will... and obviously, the sun will not be generated till the end of the turn because she is going to spend it on this 3 attack. It would be with advantage, but of course the Night Demons force attacks at disadvantage, so this will just be a straight up 3 attack. So here we go. It is going to be, well, just 3 damage. And I actually had that guy's health wrong, never changed the dial. Should have been at 7, so he's down to 4 now. Last but not least, the Night Demon will be muddled, getting a taste of its own medicine. Katie will gain an XP, and that will do it for her turn. And then we finish it out with the Earth Demons, just doing a 3 attack, starting with this one against the Elementalist. It'll be at disadvantage since it can't move. And so either a 0 or a 0 and a poison. So yeah, it'll be the 0. That's 3 damage. And of course, that will be cut in half and rounded down by the ward. So just 1 damage. And now the second one doing its attack against the Berserker, either a +1 or a +2. So +1, it will be 4 damage, cut in half for just 2 damage, and just barely, she remains alive. And, of course, that is 2 retaliate damage, which is just enough to take this guy out. Okay, well, that is now 4 of 20 towards the mastery, well on the way there, certainly in good shape of the other mastery of always being at half health at the end of the turn, maybe a little bit lower than I want to be. So the good news is there's only 1 more enemy down here. I'm certainly in a position to start healing back up. That is going to do it for the round. So for round 3, probably going to keep the group split up, have this crew down here, continue dealing with the Earth Demon, while Sunkeeper deals with all these enemies up here, but hopefully should be able to take out the Night Demon. I forgot about +1 damage from spending the Sun last turn, so that one actually is at 3, so 1 more hit should be able to take it out. The other one, hopefully, I'll go on 65, move it into the trap. I'm throwing up more Retaliate, not planning on getting hit. I just think there's fire out there. I should take advantage of an opportunity to start healing a bit. So now checking the enemies, and we've got the Night Demons. All right, nothing special, and they are going on 22, so we'll come in with a couple of big hits. potentially. One at disadvantage. Still a couple of curses in there. Pinky, the City Guard. Right, so the Wind Demon, a Blast of Air, and that's going to be interesting. It's currently at 4 range, which is not going to hit. So, yeah, I actually don't think I have to worry about that. That's good. I was going to wonder whether or not I had to generate Earth to reduce its range. Doesn't look like it. Then Katie will go. And last but not least, the Earth Demon, actually not doing a lot of damage. Boy, maybe I do want to take some Retaliate. I do have some flexibility. I have a movement card, so I could move up next to it. Well, we shall see. I don't think I want to mess around here too much, so I'll just consume the fire. Maybe I should have taken that card with the bottom healing. That would have been helpful. But I'll consume the fire to go ahead and heal 2. And with the movement, actually where I want to be, so I'll just stay right there. Next up, the Night Demons. With their nothing special and the way things are positioned right now, the only way that the elite can get to a focus and attack is by going into a trap, so he will do so. And so that guy will take 5 damage and then go ahead and do his attack, which is, it'll be a straight up. It's going to be a 5 attack and it will generate Night. So here we go, 5 attack incoming is going to be a 6 attack. I'll use my chainmail, my tower shield to reduce that to 3. And then the ward will kick in, reducing it from 3 down to 1. So not bad, just 1 damage on that attack. And now the other Night Demon will also attack, this time at 4 with disadvantage from the muddle. Is either going to be a miss or a +1. So certainly take the miss. And yeah, that's going to do it for the Night Demons. Pinky's up next, and I want to put myself in good position to be able to move up to the next level next turn. So I'm just going to slide back 2. That will generate Frost. And then I can go ahead and attack the Earth Demon with a ranged attack. And I will convert an element. I'm actually going to convert the Dark. And I would really like Wind, actually. There's a couple really nice things I can do with Wind next turn. The problem is Wind Demon already has 3 cards in the discard pile and has that 2 initiative that makes them invisible, which I don't really want them to do. So I will just take the sure bet, produce fire, and go ahead, and this will be a 3 attack. Here we go. So many cards in this deck. A bunch of blesses, but who needs a bless when you have a ×2? So, and it's poisoned, so that's a 4 × 2 is 8 damage to the Earth Demon. Next up will be the City Guard, who, by the way, did get a bless shuffled into his ally deck. He'll move up 1, and do I want him there or a little bit more flexibility on movement? I'll put him over here since he's got a couple movement. Then he can go ahead and attack. No longer strengthened, so just a straight up attack, but it will be a 3 attack with the poison. Is going to be -1, so just 2 damage. And actually, just looking ahead at the Earth Demon, I didn't realize it actually has movement, so I do not, and it'll move to attack multiple enemies. So just 1 point of movement, so I can just slide back 1. I did have 3 movement that I didn't use. Grab some loot that I was very much planning on getting anyway. And that'll bring us to the Wind Demon. Not much going here. They'll push away all adjacent enemies 1 and then attack ranged 4, which fortunately Katie is at ranged 5. No movement. That's going to do it for the Wind Demon. Speaking of Katie, she is now up, and I had options to go either way using dark or light, so in this case, I will use the light. I guess the advantage of using the dark was it would have generated light, but that's okay. I'm not planning on using it next turn, and I like this way better. Plus, I'm free to move now since the Wind Demon has already gone. So let's spend the light to give myself advantage, which will offset the Night Demon's normal ability, +1, so a 4 attack. Really just need to not miss. Here we go. It is going to be... Well, look at that. I generated light anyway, so And that is going to be enough. Obviously, I was attacking the Night Demon that was already low. So I take that guy out. And then I do have 3 movement, so sure. This will allow somebody else to get up here. I will hop on here. I guess they can move through me. But I will hop on there, grab the loot, and gain an XP, and that's going to do it for her turn. Last but not least is the Earth Demon. Only has 1 movement, can't get in range of another target, so it'll just stay where it is, and it will do a 2 attack against the guard, who does have a safeguard. Maybe this is kind of a waste of it, but, well, let's see. Well, no, because that is a ×2, so that's 4 damage, thanks to, and then not a safeguard, a ward. I always confuse it. I mean, he has safeguard and ward, but the ward will knock the 4 back down to 2 damage. Round 4, pretty good shape to hopefully have the City Guard take out the Earth Demon. I could always have Nilsa run up and do that as well. Potentially even with a retaliate. I'm not sure I want to do that, but then up top, I've got going pretty quick. Again, I'll be having, on 14, I'll be able to have the Elementalist head up top, throw an attack on the Night Demon, which unfortunately will be at disadvantage, but then I'll also have Katie able to attack, and so let's see when the enemies are going. All right, here we go. Drawing. Night Demon's going pretty fast on 15, doing some extra damage, and the Wind Demon, a couple of targets, but not a very big attack. For the City Guard, normal nothing special. Earth Demon is just looking to heal, so even if I don't manage to kill it, it's just going to heal the poison. So yeah, that's good news. And then finally Nilsa. Pinky will kick things off, and since I'm already standing on a portal entry on a B token, I can just use 1 movement to hop up here using the magma scales for generic movement. Would be nice if I could attack both, and I could move a little bit closer, but unfortunately just out of range, so I am going to be consuming the frost and the fire so that we can immobilize, and that's not going to do much. So actually, yeah, I mean, these elements are waning, so there's no reason not to at this point. But the fire, I will at least be able to wound it. So this is going to be a 2 attack at disadvantage against the Night Demon. So here we go. Either a 0 with element generation or a ×2. And in this case, that is unfortunate. Because of the ambiguity, I do have to take the first one. So, I mean, nice that I'm generating an element, and it can either be frost or wind, and that will be 2 damage plus a wound to the Night Demon. For the element, I guess I will go with frost, so that I've got that available potentially for next turn, since the wind would just get used up. Fortunately, the Night Demon managed to sneak in just ahead of the Sunbringer, so a classic battle of light versus dark, as wound will knock it down to 5, and then it will go ahead and attack for 4. This attack straight up is going to be +1, so that's 5 damage. I'll use the chainmail for a second time, knocking it down to 4. It'll then do an additional damage and consume an element. I'll have it consume the sun, the light, turning it into dark, and that will be it for the Night Demon. Kitty's going to be up next, going to be using Mobilizing Axiom to do a 4 attack. Of course, the Night Demon has 5 health, so I just need to get it down to 1, then I'll die to the wound. Attacks at disadvantage, so I'm actually going to go ahead and use the black card, even though it's only getting 1 attack in. It'd be nice if I don't have to deal with this Night Demon again. So that, of course, the black card she got this from her days in the Sinra. I am going to designate that Night Demon. Any of us who attack it is going to get +1. And actually, this sticks around, so I could have done it last turn, which probably would have been a smart play. Didn't think of it. All right, so now it is a 5 attack with disadvantage, either a -1 or a -1, which is good enough. That's 4 damage, knocking it down to 1. Also get to generate an element. I think there's a pretty good chance I might want to use the sun next turn, so that's the one I'll take. I do still have 2 movement for Katie, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Heavy Greaves, which will give me +1 movement and a muddle anything I end up next to. So 1, 2, 3. Then I can muddle the Wind Demon, so its attacks will be at disadvantage, and then, which is always a help when you're dealing with all of these imbuements. The deck is much tougher. So that then will be the end of her turn. Now the Wind Demon's up, doesn't really care about advantage, disadvantage, so it's just going to look to get within 3 of here. So it can go 1, 2, that'll put it within range 3. It can now attack both. So first it's going to attack the Elementalist. That attack is going to be either a +1 or a 0. So just 2 damage. Then a 2 attack against Katie will either be a +1 or a +1 and a heal. So we'll take the +1. I will use my armor for the 3rd time to knock that down. So 2 damage to her. They both take 2. Next up is the City Guard, and we'll see if he can't take out the Earth Demon. This is a 3 attack with the poison, +1. Yeah, that's good enough. And that guy eliminated. The bottom is safe for now. Will there be more spawns? I do not know. But things are well positioned now that the City Guard is done for when Nilsa's turn comes up. And that's going to be right now, because the Earth Demon is dead. And look at these 3 coins lined up nice in a row. Nilsa's going to use a generic 2 movement to land here, and then go ahead and loot and shield, and well on her way to her personal goal. Well, I wouldn't say well on her way. She needs to loot 50 coins, but 4 so far. Round 5, pretty straightforward. Nilsa needs to take a long rest, so she's going to do that. Hang out with the guard down below, who I guess, if I really wanted, the guard could come up, but probably not. We'll see how things go. Although maybe I could always shuffle them around. Then I'm actually going to have the Elementalist going late in the round, since potentially I can generate a wild element. I want to have flexibility there if I want to generate wind and not worrying about it being used up. And the Sunkeeper is looking to heal and just kind of slow things down for a bit. Hopefully can not take too much of attack till we can get in a better position to deal with this enemy. Speaking of this enemy, let's see what it's doing. Doesn't really matter what the Night Demon's doing, since it's gonna die. The Wind Demon doing a 3 attack with a pull with the Tailwind, generating wind. So great, glad to know that. And it looks like it is going first. A little further down, again, Night Demon is going to be dying this turn. That is going to be its action. Okay, if monsters were more intelligent, this could be really rough with the Wind Demon, who is going to do a 3 attack against the Sunkeeper and pull. But fortunately, I get to decide where the monster moves. In this case, I mean, it's going to move as short as possible. So it's only going to move 1 space to make sure it can not have disadvantage. I'm going to have it move here. Because then it's going to do the 3 attack. It's going to be able to pull, and rather than pull it into the lava, I can pull it this way. Of course, if I were playing, like, I don't know, some deadly mode, and I'm pretty sure I did that correctly. I know with the FAQ, it does say the monsters have to do their maximum pull. It doesn't say you have to pull into a trap or a terrain. So, I mean, it's just a demon, right? How intelligent is it? In any event, it is going to do a 3 attack against Katie, which is going to be a 4 attack, heal itself. Katie looking a bit rough. She's down to 2. It's a good thing Katie is not getting pulled into the lava, because that would kill her. That will also generate a wind, and that'll do it for the Wind Demon. Katie's up next. She is most certainly going to use a Soothing Light, as well as Consuming the Light, which is going to heal her for 3 and let her get a card back. All right, so I'm going to get back Daybreak, mainly just for the good initiative, and, you know, the making attacks have disadvantage could potentially be useful as well. But more important, just want to be able to go fast. Probably going to heal again next turn. And so that's that. And now I do have some movement. All right, I do have some movement, but I'm not going to move for a couple reasons. I am planning on having the Berserker come up here, so if this guy has to move, I want him moving that way, not the opposite direction. Right now the City Guard is up, and I have no idea what's going to happen down here, but we need somebody down here, so I'll go 1, 2, 3. I don't necessarily want him sitting on top of that, although it would give me some more flexibility. He's only got 2 attack, though, so yeah, we'll just leave him there. That way, if I want the Elementalist to be able to camp on that spot, on the B spot, I can. So that is going to do it for his turn. Night Demon's up next, and it is going to succumb to its wounds as it will take a damage and be no more. So just one more enemy that we have to kill before we see what happens next. Let's keep moving. Pinky's up next. Might as well attack with Pulsing Cores, range 3, so I can just hit it. You never know. I may actually get a positive modifier, do some damage. I may generate an element, all sorts of... I could potentially do both. So let's see. 2 attack versus the 2 shields, and +1, so did get 1 damage through, and that actually opens up some of my options for next turn. I do want to do element generation since I'm planning on taking a short rest, and I want to heal. So, unfortunately, the loot just a bit out of reach, but I will heal back up to 6 and figure out which element I want. Probably fire, but let me see. Yep, I'm going to be generating frost and earth next turn, most likely, so it will be fire, and that will do it for that. And now Nilsa will go ahead and do her long rest. I think I missed a heal somewhere. I'll double check when I go back over the video, as I will be taking a break after this round. Heal 2, so I think back up to 5, and no items to get back. But for the card I'm losing, I've done a good job on looting so far, so I am going to let this one go. Last but not least, end of the round, I will short rest with the Elementalist, and I ended up losing Empowering Flame, which is unfortunate, but we certainly got good use out of it on turn 1, and there are more important cards for next turn that I don't want to risk losing. Last but not least, we'll actually let a couple of elements go. These will wane, and we'll get ready for round 6. I lied. I'm going to do one more round before I go to bed because I have a pretty clear idea of what I want to do this round, because I had already kind of planned it out last round. I'm going to have the Elementalist go first on 10. Going to head down outside of the portal so that Pinky can grant movement and a shield to the Berserker. Then I'll have the Berserker go on 14, come up position next to the Wind Elemental, hopefully, and take it out with Retaliate, the way it was meant to be done. And then I've got Katie set up to do some healing, or maybe something else, as I will have killed the last enemy, and we'll see what happens. Of course, we do need to first see what the Wind Demon is doing, and not going until 37, doing a Cyclone, not worried about that. So, okay, let's kick things off with Pinky. All right, well, we've got things well positioned. I can just use one movement down here, and then I can use a Gravel Guard to target, and again, that's all I'm going to do. That will generate Frost. And then I can go ahead, just the one movement, I can grant movement to 2 points of movement here. So we'll go 1, 2. That will also grant a shield and generate Earth. Now Nilsa's up, and she will follow things up once again with the Tireless Retribution and Unbridled Power combination. So that's going to be 3 movement, 4 Retaliate. All attacks will be at disadvantage. So it is going to be just 1, 2, 3. Might as well land on the loot, and that is convenient. Then if at the end of her turn, she will goad the Wind Demon into attacking. This one going to be a 3 attack against the 1 shield. So either a miss, that is exactly what we were hoping for, or a 0. A little sad to see that go, as the rest of the deck will be tougher, but no damage. But that is 4 Retaliate damage, which means this guy is dead. We are one step closer to that mastery, and we can see what happens next. Right, Nilsa also going to gain 2 XP as each of those cards triggers on the retaliate. Now, no flavor text or narrative text for what happens next, but there are some instructions. Fortunately, we have a little bit of time to prepare, though not much. At the start of next round, 2 night demons, actually 4 night demons, are going to spawn. 1 on each of the C spots, 1 on each of the D spots. There will also be a wind demon spawning on spot E, which is over here. So 5 enemies will spawn at the beginning of next round, and that's it. I have to kill them all, and that will be the end of the scenario. Of course, I still have to honor the always having at least 1 person down here, and extra night demons spawning if I don't have at least 1 person up here. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I am going to have to act hastily in order to be able to have Nilsa assassinate somebody. So we'll see if I can pull that off. Could be tricky, but I will do my best. And yeah, I usually don't stop in the middle of a round, but I do want to take some time to figure out. I want to figure out where I'm going to want to be positioned. So I know Katie's going to heal, but I don't even know if she's going to heal herself or Nilsa. So I will figure that all out, and I will see you very shortly. I am back, ready to pick up where I left off. It is Katie's turn, but there are a couple of things that I need to just fix or have taken care of having watched the video back again. You saw my note that I forgot. I got so used to not bothering to poison myself with the scepter because I would always just remove it, and I think I'm definitely going to have to get that item, the helm that lets you do 1 healing, or the amulet, just because having poison and then taking retaliate damage, often not a good idea. Or I could potentially time it to do it right after I've received the boon from the Elementalist of Safeguard. But kind of recalculating it, the one thing I figured was at some point I would have had to lose a card. There is 1 card left, was 1 card left in my hand before I took a rest. That was unfortunately my level 2, but to keep things above board, I'm going to go ahead and lose that card for Nilsa. Otherwise, everything would have worked out correctly, healing-wise. She'd be where she's at. So that covers it for her. I noted that the guard should actually be at 7 health instead of 6 because I forgot about the shield. That was a turn where ward took place, but that is resolved. Last but not least, on Katie's last turn, when she did the 4 attack, I forgot to have her bless herself, so I took care of that, shuffled the bless into her deck. So now she's up, she can finish out the round, and kind of thinking ahead to what I'm doing next round, I'm going to give myself a shot at assassination without going the all-in route, and the all-in route is using lay hands to get Nilsa back up to full, and then she can use the glass cannon to do a 14-point attack. Could even take out an elite that way. I'm going to save that for if there's the emergency situation where I'm not able to get the assassination and I kind of have to rig things so that I can have 1 spawn down below and hopefully go before it attacks. That all being said, I think there's a pretty good chance that this round I'm probably going to have Nilsa go back downstairs to help with the others. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3 movement to go here. I'm also planning on probably with Nilsa doing the 6 attack, which makes her lose half her remaining health. So no reason at this point to waste a heal. I will instead go ahead and have Katie heal herself for 3. That does it for Katie's turn. That does it for the round. The one choice I have to make is Katie has no cards. Do I take a short rest? Do I long rest? Now, the risk of long resting, I do want a long rest for the healing and getting my items back. It's effectively 7 health plus 1 movement plus giving enemies muddle potential, all of which will be very helpful. The problem is I'm going to spawn 2 night demons. Katie is likely to be the target with the Berserker planning to get out of there. Which would mean, in that case, instead of losing 1 card, potentially, 1 attack I can absorb, the other one probably not. In that case, I'd have to lose 2 cards. That said, I haven't lost any cards yet for her. So losing 2 cards from an attack plus another one for the rest would bring me down to 8, which would bring me in line with the Berserker. Actually, more cards than the Berserker at this point. So, all of that said, I am not going to take a short rest. I will take my chances. Elements will wane. These two will go away. And we can move on to the next round. Now we're on to round 7, and before I show you my cards, I just kind of want to... There is some intentionality to the way I've placed things. I did double check on the Gloomhaven Discord. Thank you to the people who chimed in, that in this scenario, it says, because I'm playing with 3 players, 2 of the Night Demons are elite. It does not tell me where to spawn them. The choice is mine. So I could do both up top, both on the bottom. For very specific and intentional reasons, which I'll get into as we play out the round, I have put an elite here, a non-elite further away, and same thing down here, just thinking in terms of targets. So let me show you the cards I've chosen and explain my thinking. One other thing in looking over my cards, in order to make this work the way I want, I actually need this 10 back from the discard pile. So even with only 2 cards in the discard pile, I'm going to have the Elementalist take a short rest. So odd, it'll be this card, even this one. So it's odd, so I am going to have to spend a life to keep this card. And this is the kind of planning that would never work if you're playing with actual other players and are not factoring everything, as I've gone down to the initiative tiebreaker to make this work. What I want is for the Elementalist to go first so that Pinky can move away from the Night Demons, then immobilize them, lock them in place. Hopefully I get to go before they do. And also deal some damage. And then I don't want the Berserker to go until after that, and I can't have the Berserker go too late because right now the Berserker is in the line of fire of the 2 demons up here. So they're both going on 10, but with the tiebreaker, the 54 and the 76, I can make it work out, but again, I did need to do the 10 to make this happen. So, all that said, that's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully, if all works well, I'm going to be able to bring Nilsa downstairs and kill the Night Demon, although the attack will be at disadvantage. So, no cards in my deck, so odds of drawing a miss are fairly low. Hey, we'll take a chance. We'll see what happens. Let's see when the enemies are going. Also, I should mention that when I had Pinky take a damage from the short rest, I had never given Pinky the +1 health from the heal they did earlier that turn, so 5 is the correct number. And now let us see when... Okay, excellent. They are all going later. The Wind Demon, moving 3, range 3, so I should be able to avoid that. The Night Demon, also only moving 3. That's good news, I believe. I think this is going to work out, but let's start with Pinky and Nilsa. Pinky's up first, and I do want to move away from the Night Demon, but I don't want to move too far away because I want to be able to go upstairs if need be. So I'll just back up 1 here with my movement, and then with the attack, I will go ahead and spend both the Frost and the Earth, and I will be able to attack both enemies for 2 attack with poison and immobilize. Attack the elite first. It'll be at disadvantage, and it's going to be either a ×2 or a -2. Okay, well, c'est la vie. Of course, it's going to be the -2, so no damage, but I do get in, more importantly, the poison and immobilize. Then the attack against the non-elite will either be a ×2 or a 0. Oof. But 2 damage, and it's poisoned, so that is very good. Next up is Nilsa, who's got 4 movement, but 2 will be enough, as I'll go 1, 2, hop out of the rift, and try and ambush the Night Demon. Alright, so now Nilsa will take out a Blood Pact to attack the Night Demon. That's going to cost her 2 damage, going from 5 down to 3, and it will be a 6 attack, plus the poison, so a 7 attack against 5 health. So as long as I don't miss, said those words before, it will be at disadvantage. So it is either going to be a 0 or a -1, but that is good enough. That is going to take out the demon who has been assassinated. I've achieved my battle goal. That's going to do it for Nilsa, who does gain an XP from that. Next up is the guard, who is doing nothing special, and I think I'm content to just leave the guard right here. I could go up and attack that thing for 3 with the poison, but then I'll take a 6 attack in return. Not quite ready to do that yet. Might as well take advantage of the fact that it cannot attack. The Wind Demon's next. It'll begin moving towards 1, 2, 3, towards the Sunkeeper, but is not in range to attack, so that will be its turn. Now, the Night Demons doing Death's Embrace, moving 3, so this is kind of why I had positioned things the way they were in case a move 3 came up, because I can have this guy go here for his first move, and then here for his second move, which is going to save me from taking 2 attacks. This attack will be a 6 attack. So that is going to be, +1 and a curse. So that is 7 damage, which I could take. It would bring me down to 1. Yeah, I'm probably going to take more hits. So even though I could lose 2 cards to do it, probably just better off saving those 2 cards. I'll take the damage. That'll drop Katie down to 1, and then the other one will move 1, 2, 3 is as close as it can get, so no attack there. So now Katie, still alive, will get to do her long rest, heal back up to a whopping 3, but she does get all of her gear back, and I do have to lose a card. Oh, also, because of her perk, we'll move Sun up to strong as she'll generate Sun. And in terms of the card losing, all right, I never did end up using this to move my allies as I envisioned, though I realize at this point in the game, I need to be using the top card either for attacks or heals and not much else. And I've still got her card with the bottom ability that gives 4 movement to everybody. So still have that effect available if I need it. That is going to do it for the round now. And this will wane back down, but I will have it available next turn. And a lot of interesting choices to make here as I try and figure out how to best tackle all the stuff on the board. All right, so going into round 8, and a lot of uncertainty, really depending on when the Night Demons go. Just drew a reshuffle card for them, so I don't have any information on the odds, don't know what they're going to draw. Other than that, I know their lowest initiative is a 4. Look, if that happens, I can't beat that. Just going to have to deal with it. Their next highest is a 15, which I could beat with Katie in case I wanted to get her out of there. But the best possibility for me to actually make a splash this turn has her going on 16. The ability to play that card that prevents any damage. It is not a granted ability. It's an aura effect, which means you evaluate it based on who's next to her when they take damage. So she can do that, and then I'm actually going to have Nilsa go on 31. Ideally, I'd have Nilsa go earlier, but it needs to be after Katie, so I didn't have a lot of choices with the cards in hand. So, but she'll go on 31, and if possible, she's able to come up, put herself in a position to deal a lot of retaliate damage. I've queued up both her retaliate card along with going on 14. The Elementalist could give her a couple of retaliate, and shields that I guess would not matter if I end up using Katie's ability, as well as for the Elementalist, a nice big attack that to disarm the Night Demon, so we can kind of keep that at bay. So a lot of what ifs. The good news is I can hedge a bit. I don't need, I've chosen these lost abilities. I don't have to use them, because if the Night Demons go really fast, they're just going to crowd around Katie and attack before she has a chance to do anything. And Nilsa won't even be able to get up there. So nothing else to do at this point, but go ahead and see when the enemies are going and what they're doing. Here we go. Moment of truth, and okay. This is the best case scenario because the Night Demons are going last and they're attacking. The Wind Demon, going after Katie. So I could certainly not have been sure that this was going to go this way, but since it did, feeling really good about how this turn is going to go. So we'll kick things off with Pinky. who is going to go ahead and unleash a frigid torrent on the Night Demon. So this going to be a 5 attack. More importantly, I mean, that's pretty good. 5 attack plus the poison, so 6 attack. But the really important thing here is the disarm, which also means I'm going to be able to send the guard up to get some licks in. But attacks at disadvantage, so here's hoping either a -1 or -1, so that is going to be 5 damage to the elite Night Demon. That will generate frost and wind. Of course, the wind I'm not going to get to hold on to, but then I will go ahead, also 2 XP, then I'll go ahead and use Magma Scales, which will give me another 2 XP. Will also generate earth and fire, and that is going to, obviously, we will target Nilsa, giving her 2 shields, and more importantly, 2 retaliate. One other thing I could do here is use my stamina potion to get back my really good attack ability, but I have a feeling I'm more likely to want to be healing and let the others do the attacking, so that'll be it for Pinky's turn. Next up is the Sunkeeper, who is going to be doing both incredible defense with Protective Blessing, and sure, we'll go ahead and play that first. So I am going to spend the sun, but afterwards it'll go to strong, and that is going to ensure that she does not take any of this round. Allies next to her do not take any damage this round. Perhaps one certain berserker. But before we get to that, go ahead and do a hammer blow, again using the sun, which will then regenerate to gain +1 and advantage to offset the inherent disadvantage of the Night Demon. So it's going to be a straight up 4 attack against the elite, and that is going to be a miss. Not even the curse that I had to put in my deck, alas. Well, that is unfortunate, but I can't complain too much because the initiative values worked out very well for me, and I managed to get that Protective Blessing into play. So now the Wind Demon is up. Wind Demon has 4 movement, looking for 2 targets at range 3. It's too bad it's not range 2, because boy, would that be great if the Wind Demon went there. But unfortunately, it does not need to get that close. It'll stop here, and it'll go ahead and attack. Doesn't really matter what the attack is, since, well, I guess it does matter, because it is going to cause bleed, and that I'm going to have to deal with. So Katie doesn't take any damage because of her Protective Blessing, but she does take a wound. And she is also pushed back 2, as the Wind Demon will consume the wind, and that is going to do it for the Wind Demon's turn. Now the guard is up, and seeing that this Night Demon is not looking so threatening at the moment, he will move up and go ahead and attack. So it'll be a 2 attack +1 from the poison, so 3 attack at disadvantage is either a 0 or a 0. 3 more damage. Now it is time for Nilsa to go and to taunt her enemies a second time, as she will go 1-2 using generic movement, and she will then throw up 2 more retaliate to go with the 2 she's already got, so she's now at 4 retaliate, and then at the end of her turn, come get some, she will taunt the 2 Night Demons into attacking her. So, just because we do need to draw cards, you never know what might happen. We'll start with the Elite, which is a muddled disadvantage, a +2, or poison. Again, this is a situation where it is ambiguous, so you use the +1, thank goodness. Although I guess she could have prevented the poison, but nevertheless, it's the +2, so it's a lot of damage that is all prevented by the Protective Blessing, and 4 retaliate dealt here. So that's going to bring that guy down to 9. And then the other one will go ahead and attack. Just a straight up attack. -1. Again, doesn't really matter. No damage. And it will also take retaliate damage. And that was just on Nilsa's turn. And she will gain 1 XP for getting attacked. Next up are the Night Demons, who are looking for Death's embrace, and, well, they are going to find it ready and waiting in the arms of the Berserker. No need to move. I mean, we'll do the elite down here, which cannot attack, so it just gets rid of its disarm. Then the elite up here will go ahead and attack again at disadvantage. That will either be a -1 or, yeah, it'll be the -1. Again, damage prevented, and it takes 4 retaliate, bringing it down to 5. And then for the other one, just a single card attack, no damage, and 4 retaliate is going to kill that one. That is kill number 6 for Nilsa, looking pretty good. And that is going to do it for the Night Demons. There is no dark for them to consume. End of the round, all these elements will wane, and then I do need to have Nilsa take a short rest. She randomly ended up losing that card. One of her retaliates, but that's okay. I'm less into retaliate now and more just causing pain, I think. And you know what? I really want that Gravel Guard back for the fast initiative. So I am going to once again take a short rest with only 2 cards in my discard pile. I can't use the stamina potion because it's a level 2. Odd even. It is even, so I'm going to have to spend 1 life, which brings me down to 4, but that's okay. Still haven't failed my battle goal. I do want to get that back, and I will lose the other one. Round 9, I cannot help myself. I love unbridled power and tireless retribution so much that let's try it a 3rd time in a row as we cycle through the deck, as I will be sending Nilsa in to do more retaliate shenanigans, but that'll actually be on 14. Give her a little protection first. On 10, I will have Pinky head back into the rift, this time to do some healing. Don't worry, guard, we are not going to leave you alone. Katie is planning on running down and engaging the Night Demon and potentially taking it out between the 2 of them, as long as I don't draw a miss, although I do have a curse in there and haven't had the best luck, but we will try. And yeah, should be in pretty good position, and then kind of be able to shift my focus to getting that chest before I take out the Wind Demon once and for all. But let's check the enemies and keep things moving. Here we go, going pretty fast. 10, 14, and 17. And for the enemies, slower than that. Even the City Guard gets to go before the Night Demon tries to fade into darkness. There is no dark. There is Earth that will reduce the Wind Demon's range. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about that yet. Let's kick things off with Pinky. I'm realizing now I could have done this a little bit differently. Forgot that I was going to have a chance to throw down a fire trap, which would just do 1 damage to the Night Demon, but I think I'm going to hold on to the fire so that I can give strengthen. I could have done things differently. I could have played a card for Katie where she would already have advantage. Nevertheless, I will hang on to that. I will just do the move 2, so it is going to be 1 where the guard is, and then 2 up over here. So now with the heal, I will be able to target both Katie and Nilsa. Then I just have to decide which elements I want to consume. Definitely Frost and Earth, or I should say definitely Frost and Fire. The Earth... Sure, why not? It's not going to do me any benefit to reduce the range of the Wind Demon. It's still going to be able to attack. So we'll go ahead and grab all 3 of those things and throw out some healing. And everyone really is paying homage to the Blood God this game, as they are all spending a lot of time at half health or lower. But we are hanging in there, continuing on. That's going to do it for Pinky. Next up is Nilsa, who is ready to take some damage, come what may. Also working towards that personal goal. Moving 1, all attacks will have disadvantage. Retaliate 4, going to gain a couple of XP. And yeah, let's go ahead and taunt. We will have the Night Demon attack first. It is going to be a 5 attack, but at disadvantage. So here we go, either a +1 or a +1. So That is going to be 6 damage. The ward will reduce it in half to 3. Now the Wind Demon with a 4 attack, and I've got through a lot of cards here. I could really use a miss, either a +1 or a +1. So yeah, I'm going to have to lose a card for that one, but the Wind Demon will take 4 damage. Also, let's not forget that this guy has taken 4 damage down to 1. Don't think I'm going to need Blood Pact at this point, so I'll lose that. Next up is Katie, who could help up here, but is going to run down outside of the rift for a couple reasons. 1, 2, just right here, and go ahead and attack the Night Demon down there. With the Strengthen, this will be an advantage, so 4 attack with the Poison, a 5 attack. Let's see if we can't take this thing out. Come on, straight up, here we go. It is a 0, which is just enough, 5 damage. This guy is defeated, so just a couple enemies left, and in very short order, there's only going to be 1 enemy left. I will go ahead and loot that, and I do get to generate an element, so I'm just going to take a look at the Elementalist stand and think about what I want that to be. Actually, with the cards the Elementalist has, none of which require a specific element, doesn't really matter. I will just refresh Sun. So that is going to do it for Katie's turn. Next up is the City Guard, and he has gotten his bravery up after getting a chance to attack that Night Demon, dealing some damage, then seeing it die. He is inspired. He is going to head into the rift. 1, 2, putting himself right next to the Night Demon, and even though Nilsa's like, I got this, just let it attack me, if she exhausts, then I don't actually complete her mastery. So just to be on the safe side, buy myself a little time, I am going to try and have the guard take out the Night Demon. It will be at disadvantage, either a 0 or a +2. Yeah, the 0 is going to do it. It was only down to 1 health. So denied a retaliate, but that's okay. Finally, we've got the Wind Demon, who is going to use a Blast of Air to push Nilsa back 1. And then we'll go ahead and attack Nilsa. It will be a 4 attack. Still at disadvantage because of the card Nilsa played. So here's hoping. It is going to be either a 0 or... There it is, the miss. There were only 3 cards left in the deck, one of which was also the ×2. So no damage, no retaliate, unfortunately, but don't have to lose another card. Actually, the one thing I forgot to do on the Elementalist turn was use my Stamina Potion. I do want to get this card back just for some decent initiative. Also, potentially the heal. And since I'm getting it back, instead of producing Sun on Katie's turn, it would make more sense to produce Frost. And then the Frost will wane, and that will be the end of round 9. Really, my last order of business here is just get as much XP as I can, make sure Nilsa doesn't exhaust, and I do need to pick up that chest, but I have a plan for that. Round 10, we're in the home stretch, but I do still need to make sure I can get that treasure chest, try and get some XP. So Katie's going to get a lot of XP this round, as she's going to run up, look to stun or run back in to the rift, look to stun the Wind Demon and do some mass healing. And then I will be able to have... Elementalist do a little bit more healing if I want. Also go down and get some loot. And for Nilsa, well, she's going to do what she does best. She cannot attack this round, but she sure can retaliate. Here we go. Just the Wind Demon left, and going fairly quick, but after Katie, it'll go on 21. So we will kick things off with the Sunkeeper. Well, we've talked about Katie Kaboom being able to just blow up in a fiery blaze of light. So how about a dazzling charge and engulfing radius? We'll start with the dazzling charge, which is going to be a 5 movement. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 should be good enough. We'll go here actually instead. Nope, we want to go here. Nope, we want to go here. So there'll be the movement. I will then go ahead and stun the Wind Demon. That will generate sun, and then look, here we are, all in the same room. Engulfing Radiance will heal everybody, because we're all here, even the guard. And I don't have anybody outside the rift right now, but that check is just at the start of the round, so I will have an opportunity to shuffle people around. Katie's going to gain a total of 4 XP this turn, as she loses both those cards, but that is going to do it for her turn. The Wind Demon would seek some payback, but it's stunned and will do nothing. And you know, I was going to heal Nilsa, but that would put her up to 9, and with the ward, there is a chance that, a very good chance that she doesn't get back down to 7. That would be unfortunate, as I've done so much work to get her mastery. So I think instead, I'm going to switch things around. This way I can move the Frost back to strong. With 3 movement, I am just going to move down here. I'm not going to bother attacking because, again, I don't want to accidentally kill the demon before I have a chance to loot the treasure chest. So we'll just go on, collect the loot, make sure somebody's down there, and that is going to be the end of Pinky's turn. Guard's up next. He's seen enough. He's just going to move 3, get out of this rift, and just hang out here, make sure it stays open, and his turn is done. So now Nilsa is up, and she will use that nifty jump, leaving behind the coin, to leap over the Wind Demon, and then throw up some Retaliate, and then go ahead and, you guessed it, taunt. Alright, it is going to be a 4 attack from the Wind Demon, -1 damage from the card I put up. So, yeah, just a 0. So that's going to be 3 damage to Nilsa. No problem, bringing her down to 4. End of the round, I do want to get Mobilizing Axiom back, so Katie will take a short rest. Odd, even, even, so don't, yeah. So I would lose this card, get this one back. That's fine, so I will be able to give everyone movement next turn. Also need to do short rest for Nilsa, and I'm going to lose that card. At this point, I'm kind of playing with my food a little bit, but why not have a little fun, get a bunch of XP, set myself up for a fitting conclusion to this scenario. Next round, I do still have the battle goal for the Sunkeeper to take care of. So, let's just see when the enemy's going. I'll have Katie go later in the round for reasons. And, alright, the Wind Demon, good, there's no wind, so it is not vanishing, not moving, so just attacking at disadvantage, and not until after Nilsa goes. So, I could certainly kill the demon now, but I don't want to risk doing that, so I am going to play the bottom card just as a little of protection, and I'm not going to bother playing the top card. I do not want Retaliate, since Nilsa is going to be the target of this attack, and with the Wind Demon down to 2 health, not ready to kill it just yet. The Wind Demon will go next. It'll attack with disadvantage, so just a 3 attack. It'll either be wounding or a +1. That is ambiguous. It'll take the first one. So 3 damage and a wound, knocking Nilsa down to 1. The good news is Defiance of Death will take care of that and give an XP if need be. Right, there's actually very little for the Elementalist to do. I'm just going to use 2 movement to get myself up here in position to get that loot next turn. I could target Katie with the Flash of Brilliance. I don't know how brilliant Katie's next move is going to look. Maybe she could use that help, but not going to do it. Since there are no cards in Katie's discard pile. So that is going to do it for the Elementalist turn. Now, before Katie's troubled life when she was a teen, before she joined the Sin-Ra, before she started exploding, she wanted to be a gymnast. And some things never quite go away. So she wants to demonstrate her acrobatic ability. She's going to use a move 4. Now, she is warded, so the first move is going to have to be into the lava, which is going to knock her. That'll get rid of the ward. That'll knock down 1 damage. The next move is going to be into the trap, which would do 5 damage. But of course, in this case, she is going to lose a card. It's going to be not that one. she's going to lose a card. It's going to be that one. And she's still got 2 more movement. She's just going to use 1, and this is going to seem strange, but she's going to move into the lava. So she'll take another 3 damage. Then finally, she'll go ahead and strengthen and bless the Berserker, setting up for what should be a very strong, dramatic finish. Remember, we did say Nils likes to show off. Pinky will do a short rest. I think I might have put an extra card in the lost pile, but it doesn't really matter. We'll lose that card. Pinky's got 2 cards left, so just enough to finish out what should be the final round. This round, I've got Nilsa setting up for a glass hammer. That'll actually be on 43. Just looking to get some loot with Pinky. And Katie still has a few more tricks to unload. A couple of powerful abilities yet to be used. All right, here we go. Last hurrah for the Wind Demon and the Rift. It is not going till 37, which is before Nilsa, but well, that should be interesting. We'll see how I can resolve that. Going to go ahead and have Pinky lead off. So Pinky's going to go first, and just going to use a generic 2 movement. We'll be able to collect that loot. Leave no loot behind if possible, although I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that one, but that's okay. Maybe. We'll see. All right, so with movement, I am going to give 2 movement. We're going to go 1, 2 with Nilsa. That will trigger Defiance of Death. So Nilsa would go below 1. She does not. Instead, is set back to 1 and gains an XP. And that may seem crazy, but don't worry. I have a plan. Because now it is time for Katie, the Paladin, to truly come out. And for the first time, she will do Lay on Hands. I think Nilsa's kind of going to hate this, but is going to heal Nilsa for 14, which is more than her maximum, which is going to trigger one of her special abilities for Katie, which means it's also going to safeguard the Berserker. So that'll also get rid of the wound. So lots of good stuff, and 2 XP on top of that. Then Katie will finish off her turn by doing Mobilizing Axiom. She'll gain another couple of XP, so up to 14, and give herself and everyone 4 movement. I've already marked off the 3 damage she's going to take, but of course for her it's going to be 5 movement, as I will use the Greaves and go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, onto the treasure chest. We'll keep Nilsa where she is, and we'll let the elementalists head back down. Pinky can hang out with the guard. So now for end of turn looting, it turns out that I got a Scroll of Healing. So yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's a little bit more expensive than a regular healing potion, but you can use it on somebody else. Could be pretty good. And actually, I just saw it's range 5, so actually really good. That could be really good for Katie, especially early on. Somebody's taken 1 or 2 damage, do the 3 heal, do the overheal for the safeguard. So that could be nice. But that is the end of Katie's turn, and now we're on to the Wind Demon. And the nice thing here is this is not a ranged attack, so it's going to stay right where it is and go ahead and attack for 4. So let's see what's incoming. Nilsa does have 1 shield, back at full health, and safeguarded. The 4 attack is a 4 attack with poison, which will be the 4 attack with poison. The shield knocks it down to 3. The ward knocks it down to just 1 damage. And I'm thinking somewhere in there I might have missed the safeguard, maybe to prevent the wound. Doesn't really matter. I can now move on to Nilsa's turn. All right, well, I am not doing a very good job of my mastery if I allow Nilsa to end the game at full health after all of that work. So why don't we go ahead and use Glass Hammer. This is going to be a 14 attack with advantage, and then it's going to knock her down to 1. So potential for a lot of XP here. So here we go. 14 attack. Could I get a bless? Maybe. Either going to be a +1 or a +2. So not quite. That is going to be 16. Just missed on the XP. It's going to be a 16 attack versus the 2 shields. So 14 damage dealt to the Wind Demon, just 2 XP. That will also set Nilsa's HP down to 1. And then she's got movement and a little bit of heal. Sure, why not? You know what? Actually, we'll do generic 2 movement. So she can end at 1. And collect yet more loot, quite a bit. But that is the end of the round. That is the end of the scenario. Okay, so with the demons successfully dealt with, the rift closed, the crew has gathered outside. They will eventually report back to the spy master and to the city guard, who are very glad for us succeeding at this and dealing a blow to the demons. Of course, once again, my group is approached by somebody who says, you are choosing the wrong side. The demons aren't so bad. Maybe, but we've kind of thrown our lot in with the city guard. As a reward for the scenario, I got 2 reputation with the city guard. Takes me up to 12, minus 1 with the demons. So they're down to 3. Gained a prosperity tick. And since I am at reputation 12 with the city guard, and I've completed both scenarios 17 and 18, dealing with their enemies for them, weakening their enemies for the better? Well, who knows? But I did unlock another section, which talks about the city guard preparing for war and an invasion. Yet instead of kind of fanning out to greet the people of the division, reinforcing the borders, they've brought most of their able bodies into the city. And I've unlocked scenario 23, Gloomhaven Square A, where perhaps the battle for Gloomhaven will begin. But that's not going to give me a road event. So I don't know how interested Pinky is going to be in that. We'll see. I will take some time to decide what I'm going to do. But in the meantime, let's take a look at how the characters did. You know, you would think that maybe the guards would pay me for all the work I'm doing. Not yet. But I did, starting with Ilsa, the Onyx Berserker. Of course, she did complete her battle goal for a couple check marks, the assassination. She completed a mastery as far as the other one. Wasn't going to do that in one scenario, but I did kill 6 enemies with Retaliate, so just 14 more there. Should be maybe a little bit easier since next time around, since I will not be having that constraint of trying to keep my health low, I can actually bring my armor. Earlier on with the road event, even before I ran the scenario, I did decide that I was going to give the 10 gold to Nilsa, just so that she can gear up, and then of course she ended up looting the most. She picked up 24 more gold, so she's got 34 now. The XP I had to adjust down a bit. There was 1 I caught early on, there was the 2 I shouldn't have gotten later. Maybe I would have done things a little bit differently to get some more XP, but it's fine. I wasn't gonna, even with the doubling, I was not going to get to another level. So all told, she ended up with 10 from the scenario, 9 from cards, doubled from the imbuement reward I got. So that is 38 XP for her, and no level up this time, but certainly after the next scenario. Next up, Katie. She'd got just 2 loot tokens, but with the doubling, she ended up with 48 XP. So she will be level 4. She also completed a set of check marks, so she's got 2 more perks incoming. Finally, Pinky got 3 loot tokens as well as 38 XP after the doubling. Not quite there on check marks yet, but of course is going to level up to level 4, so we'll get another perk from that, and is 2 of 3 in the other mastery. So next time out, I should be able to complete that mastery of just having all 6 elements active. That, not hard to do at all. So there you have it. We are back to Gloomhaven, and yeah, I'm glad after a little bit of time off. Really like this set of characters. They're going to be together for a while, so I'm looking forward to playing them. Not sure where to go next. I can go back to the main storyline. I can continue this storyline with the Gloomhaven Square. Or kind of the other third option I would look at for right now is the puzzle book. And that involves kind of investigating the voice, investigating slimes. So let me know in the comments what you think, where you think I should go next. I am open to ideas. What would you like to see? Otherwise, give me a thumbs up. If you're watching on mobile, give me a hype, whatever that is. But as always, until next time, and thanks for watching.